Um, I think we're live.
Ah, we're doing it live, as Bill O'Reilly says.
Yes, fuck it.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Um, I just gotta check here. I'm watching the live stream. Yes, we are live. Yes,
Great.
it's always like a delay. So whenever I don't know if you watch a lot of live streams on YouTube.
Uh,
Oh no, I'm hearing myself. Um,
okay.
but I don't know. Do you watch any live streams on YouTube?
A few I've seen. I haven't seen many.
No, okay.
Well, except. But speaking of, what did you say it was called? Delays.
Yeah,
Well, I went to Guns N' Roses in Stockholm,
yeah.
and when they put on the big screen, it was 1 second delay.
Oh,
It felt so bad and unprofessional. It was a good concert though, but that whole delay was very annoying.
yeah, and you can't stop watching the
Yeah, of
the uh,
course.
the screens. It's
Yeah,
uh,
because
it's
the
fucked up.
band is like microscopic. It's like microscopically
Yeah.
tiny.
Where where did they play? Was it
Friends Arena.
Tele Friends? Oh yeah, that's a pretty
Yeah,
big one.
Friends at Solna. And that arena has actually been very criticized for being not having a good sound.
Yeah. I was there a few years ago. We watched Kiss. I mean, I didn't really notice any problems with the sound. I mean, it wasn't like super good, but it wasn't bad. I don't know.
Probably been better now.
Yeah. Okay, we have our first maybe we should actually get the show started.
Of
Um
course.
yes. Hello and welcome to the ninth episode of Please Don't Make It podcast, and I guess the second episode of Please Don't Live Stream. I don't know when we're gonna shift that into a complete live stream show, but so far this is how we're doing it. I am joined today by my good friend. Well, you can introduce yourself.
Hi there. I'm Danny Del Gaiso, and I'm a movie buff as well as Tobias. And we've known each other for a bit more than, yeah, it's 15 years now we've known each other. It was around that
Yeah,
2000,
probably.
2002 when I started to hang at the Martin's house.
Yeah, and
The
we
little
have
free
uh
Discord. Everybody hung there.
yeah, we have Martin in the chat.
Yeah.
He's our one viewer at the moment.
That's
So yeah,
great.
we're
Wow. Hope we get more
so yeah, we've
viewers.
known. Yeah, probably we'll see. Um, there's usually more people watching when it's archived, so it's when it's not live. But
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so today we're gonna do it a little bit differently than last time, because last time was just a general conversation
Yeah.
about superhero movies. Today we're actually going to talk and I guess sort of review or at least discuss a particular superhero movie,
Yeah.
Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Yeah.
because we've both seen it. I think we share thoughts about it, but I don't think we completely agree about it. I don't know. We haven't talked too much off camera about it, so
No, you left me with a question because I called you after I seen it and you said to me, so the question is it better than Sam Raimi's Spider-Man? And I said to you, I need to come back to you about it.
yeah. So we're gonna come back to that now.
Oh,
But
definitely.
yeah, but before we get to the discussion or the review, we're actually going to do a news segment, because yeah, I read some movie news here and there, and there was a couple of things that like I thought was very interesting, and I thought I wanted to talk about it here in the stream. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a news segment before we get to the actual review of the movie.
Is it
So
gonna be called Please Don't Make a News Story?
I don't know. I mean, if I keep finding interesting news stories every week, I would like to do it like its own show. You know, just
Oh,
do a weekly news show.
you can get tons of great information if you go into Slash Film. That's my
Yeah,
favorite film site.
that's a good one. But the stories we have for you today is that one of them is is about Spider-Man. So I don't think we're going to start with that one. So the first one we're going to start with is from a site called Mashable. I've read it a few times before, but they're talking about Quentin Tarantino's new movie. And the title is "A Quentin Tarantino movie about the Manson murders is a disgusting idea." And I don't know. I'll just read like the first little blurb from the article. Dickey, who works for Mashable, I suppose, and he says like this: "What I'm about to do is gross and wrong. To judge a work of art before it's even been made." But there is something about Quentin Tarantino tackling the Manson family murders that feels, well, gross and wrong. And he goes on to talk about how Quentin Tarantino usually like tackles the subject matters of his movies with a lot of, I guess, frivolity, and doesn't really take the subject matters very seriously, which is fine when you're making like westerns or like gangster movies or just black comedies. But he's arguing that when you're going to tackle a more serious subject like the Manson family murders, you need to respect the story more than Tarantino does. And I feel that he is judging the movie before it's probably even been written. So I think it's kind of unfair. He's not giving Tarantino enough benefit of the doubt.
No.
What do you think?
No, he's trying to make a valid point, but it's built on assumptions, and it's as well built on that he thinks that Tarantino is going to make a movie where all the murder scenes will be soundtracked with James Brown songs.
Yeah.
I don't think Tarantino would do something like that. That would just be in bad taste. And Tarantino is not in bad taste. He's not a controversial director. He loves making fun movies. He's one of the bigger directors that love to celebrate the movies that he's fond of, he's grown up with. The Manson thing can be a very interesting thing, because it will be the first time Quentin Tarantino takes something that is actually based on reality. Yeah, he has touched reality with slavery in Django Unchained and Nazism in Inglourious Bastards. But here, the story would be more real. I think it will be aesthetically beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But I think the one that's written this article, it's focusing that Tarantino's gonna make a fun movie about the Manson murders. He's gonna put them in a sympathetic light.
Yeah, and like he's gonna focus on the violence and stuff. And yeah, just
it
the first
was a violent crime. It was horrible. I read Bugliosi's Helter Skelter, which is the best book about the Manson murders, because Bugliosi was the prosecutor during the whole Manson case. So
okay,
he knows everything, and it's a really good book, and it describes very graphically the murders.
Yeah.
And just to put things in a little bit bigger perspective, Charles Manson is like the most overrated of all mass murderers and serial killers that ever existed, because he personally killed very few people, but he was very good at convincing other people to kill. I think that is what Tarantino's looking for. Somebody that was so charismatic and so convincingly smart to convince other people to do horrible deeds. Because they were hippie children.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the hippie age. It died with the Manson murders, and as well the Rolling Stone concert in Altamont Speedway.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I thought that the next Tarantino movie was going to tackle probably was going to be the Vega brothers. You've probably heard about this. A movie that was talked about during the 90s, where both the Vega brothers were going to work together. It sounded cool.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. No.
Some projects will never take fruition.
No, especially not now. I think they're getting a little too old. It's Michael Madsen and John Travolta, right?
Yeah, they're both
Played the
old.
Vega. Yeah, I don't think. Well, they would probably do if he asked them. They would do it, but I don't think it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
And who
Um,
wouldn't want to work with Quentin Tarantino?
yeah, exactly.
But he said during interviews for Hateful Eight that the next movie would be his last. That he wanted to retire. I read this in an article on Slash Film and was very
Yeah,
surprised because he's pretty young compared to other
yeah,
directors.
yeah, sure. And
And Quentin Tarantino quitting, that would be sad. He's done one movie that I did not really like, and it's the same one you don't like, and it's Death Proof, of course. I'm not a fan of it.
oh god, oh let's not even talk about it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie. But to get back to the article, the first thing I thought was that if he's making this movie, it wouldn't focus on the actual murders. It would focus on maybe the police officers trying to like investigating it, or it would focus on Charles Manson as a character, and not actually the murders. I mean, they would probably be in the movie, but he would have more respect for what happened than to just make the now classic like Tarantino scene where just blood's flying everywhere. I don't think he's going to do that.
No.
I mean, he has more sense than that. So I think this guy, Josh Dickey, is he is judging this idea way too early. I mean, it's like I said, it hasn't even been written yet. We have to give him the benefit of the doubt, Tarantino.
But
so
now when you describe what you think the movie's going to be about, sounds more like Quentin Tarantino was to make his own Zodiac. Zodiac it's a great movie because it's not really about the murders. It's more about one man's will to find out who did it.
Yeah, one like his obsession with the Zodiac killer, not the actual Zodiac killer.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm just gonna read the. Yeah, well, I think it's okay, but I can recognize what's good about it, even if I'm not a super fan of it. And I'm gonna read the chat here because Martin wrote something here. He says, I actually think that Tarantino could make something cool with that idea, and I hope the film will be more about the era more than the actual murders. And yeah,
what?
That kind of makes sense.
I can't see in the chat. What?
No? If you just go to YouTube and mute the video, you could probably read the chat.
So it's on. Then I'll stay here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have it in a separate window, I think, because I'm the.
It could be a good idea.
Yeah. And especially like Martin says, if you like focuses on like telling the story as like a metaphor for the era that it takes place in, that could make sense. It could be interesting to see Tarantino tackle the late 60s, 68?
Yeah.
No, when it happened.
If you really want to find out more about Manson murders, well, read the book Helter Skelter. But I would recommend the podcast. You Must Remember This. It's an American journalist called Katharina Longworth. She talks about movies from the 50s till the 70s, 80s. She did a 10-episode special about Charles Manson. And it is well written. She's researched very, very thoroughly and very deeply about. And it's very interesting because Charles Manson was as well a failed singer. He hung around with Dennis Wilson from Beach Boys. There's one whole
I know
about that whole thing. And I hope Tarantino picks that little raisin from the cake, because that whole Dennis Wilson story is very interesting, because that was when Brian Wilson became really crazy. It was a few years after the Pet Sounds era. So Beach Boys were kind of splitting up.
Yeah.
Because Brian Wilson was impossible to work with, and Dennis Wilson was getting into depression and started joining different cults.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Church of Satan. So
Okay. Well, yeah, and speaking about good movies, Love and Mercy about Brian
ah,
Wilson.
probably this
Amazing.
decade's most underrated movie.
Yeah.
So few people have seen it, and it wasn't nominated for any Academy Awards. Paul Dano and
That's
John
weird.
Cusack.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
and
Dano. He is
Paul
amazing.
Giamatti. That was the year that Paul Giamatti was an angry white record producer guy, because he was Dr. Landy in Love and Mercy, and he was what is he called? Jerry Heller in Straight Outta
Oh yeah,
Compton.
in Straight Outta Compton. Yeah, yeah.
He was typecast for those two movies.
But yeah, and Martin's saying he's saying this in the chat here. Imagine this: the protagonist of the story is Brian Wilson. That feels a bit too removed from the actual Manson family, but yeah, that could happen, I suppose, with Tarantino. But yeah,
where
just
can
to
I find, if I want to recommend podcasts and stuff to people on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube chat, then.
Yeah, you could probably write it in the chat. Just link it in the chat, or just like you did now, just plug it in the video. People can probably remember it.
Yeah, because
but yeah, just no. Go ahead.
nah, because it's the Charles Manson story has always fascinated me, because he is more famous than the people that did the murderers. He was just a very smart background figure that just made people do all this crazy crap.
Yeah, and if you listen to interviews about him,
have you seen the YouTube clip where he just rabbles on?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Who are you?" Amazing. And he does these crazy faces like, "I'm nobody." That clip is one of the few clips on the internet that can make me laugh and then just get scared.
Well,
and then there's another clip where he just mumbles, just like a bit. He sounds like a satanic Porky Pig, and it's really scary.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's not the perfect subject matter, but it's a great subject matter for a Tarantino film. He could probably make it very interesting, both entertaining and I guess like informative or something. He could make it respectful and at the same time turn it into a Tarantino movie. I think he could do it without problem. But I guess we'll find out in the future.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Have you looked into more about this Manson movie? Because have you heard who's cast into it? Well, there's casting rumors for the moment.
No, I just read this article in Mashable.
Brad Pitt and Jennifer Lawrence.
What?
Are supposed to, yeah.
Okay. And Brad Pitt is.
But the question who it is. Margot Robbie is considered to play Sharon Tate. And
could make sense.
Yeah, and then I suppose that Jennifer Lawrence would play one of the girls that killed. Could be Patricia Krenwinkel. Could be
that could make sense. She plays crazy good. So
this could be interesting.
Yeah.
There has been some Manson movies has been done in the past. There's one really great with Michael Pitt as Charles Manson, if I'm not wrong.
I know there's one movie called Helter Skelter.
I think that Martin knows which movie it is because I saw it with him on television once. I think it's actually based on the book Helter Skelter.
Yeah, because there is a movie called Helter Skelter.
Yeah. And I think
it's probably that one.
I think it is Michael Pitt. That actor deserves more roles and more love and respect.
He's pretty good.
Oh.
But yeah, that's well, I guess that's all we could talk about in that story. So let's move on to the next one. It's more of a local news item.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be about Swedish cinema. So
Swedish
this is
cinema in general. Oh,
Well,
I
if
can
there,
talk tons because we're going to talk about Edgar Wright, aren't we?
oh yes, we're gonna. Yeah, we could. Oh, we could talk for hours about how terrible cinema is in Sweden. But we're gonna focus on Baby Driver. It's premiering in Sweden
The
the 26th.
26th. Yeah,
Yeah,
26th of
next.
July. In 2 more weeks.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Pretty much exactly 2 weeks. And I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it. It has been reviewed great. It's like a critical darling almost, I would say. 8 on Metascore or something.
The highest
Um,
rated Edgar Wright movie.
yeah, and judging from his other movies, that's very high praise. So you would think that this would be like a big push in Swedish cinema to get people to go and watch this movie. However, on the 26th of July, Baby Driver will only be showing 10. It will only be 10 screenings across the entire country of Sweden. There will be 6 screenings in Stockholm, 2 in Gothenburg, and 2 in Malmo, which is just insane. How they won't like push that movie harder on the audience is just insane. Because you have movies like Transformers or the new Pirates movie, both really terrible movies, but they were shown everywhere. They were shown on every big screen. They were showing on our only IMAX screen like a couple of times every day for like a week or two. And then you have something that has gotten genuinely good reviews and has been loved by everyone who's seen it, basically. And it's showing 10 times across the entire country. That's nuts.
That's actually worthless. And it's not the first time that an Edgar Wright movie has been thrown under the bus by the cinema company SF. For you people that may be American or outside of Sweden, we have one movie company and one cinema distributor that owns everything. So they can decide which movies are hot or not. And they dropped the ball 2010 when Scott Pilgrim versus the World came out.
Yeah.
I've read so many mails complaining about it. Because I saw it. So I think I saw it in London. And I loved the movie. And I thought, hope it comes to Sweden. We're not going to release it. We don't think it has its audience. And we heard it didn't bring in much money in the States. Actually, Scott Pilgrim versus the World could be considered a flop when it comes to cinema. But it actually was released in Sweden for like 2 weeks, but still.
Yeah, and it was released in like the smaller cinemas, I guess art house cinemas, like
Scott Pilgrim is
Saga,
such an art house movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's also so weird. The same thing happened earlier this year when they decided not to release John Wick Chapter 2 in Swedish cinemas. They said like, oh, well, the last one only there are 9 million people in Sweden, so we don't get them. Like, there's not like millions of people going to see every movie that is released here. But John Wick back in 2014, there were only like 60,000 people that went and saw it. So they decided that the second one, it was not going to be financially viable to show it in cinemas. So they just decided not to show it. Luckily, enough people, me including, wrote emails and signed petitions to like make them show it, and it worked. So it came out a few like weeks later. But that's the same thing. They didn't think it was going to be financially viable, so they didn't want to, they didn't want to bet on it. They just want to do safe bets. But when you think about it, a movie like John Wick Chapter 2 has the pull from everyone who loved the first one will love this. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen Chapter 2?
No, I haven't yet. Have I missed something? Because I liked the first one.
Yeah, and that's how I would have reasoned if it were up to me what movies would show in Sweden. The first one, it may not have found an audience in the cinema, but I know it broke a bunch of records, at least in America and I think in England, when it came to DVDs. So there were definitely an audience for the second one, and it goes to show because a lot of we the audience made it, appear in cinemas, but Swedish cinema SF as it's called, svensk film, they didn't want to make an unsafe bet. And imagine if people hadn't said anything, we wouldn't have been able to see John Wick in theaters. That's just insane, and they do that.
It would have been worthless.
Yeah. We don't get a lot of smaller movies. I wouldn't even, Baby Driver and John Wick aren't small movies, but if you measure it
as small movies, and
yeah, it gets treated the same way.
The ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, like another example of a movie I really wanted to see because I had heard so much good about it. Under the Skin. It was also back in 2014. There was also that was a very small movie, kind of a weird movie. But people said a lot of good things about it, and it did show in like smaller cinemas around the world. But in Sweden, they just decided not to buy the rights. They just, no, we're not going to do it. I don't think there's even a Swedish release on. I had to import it from the UK just to watch it on Blu-ray. I don't know. There needs to be a push for smaller movies or just more unsafe bets when it comes to theater releases.
I think
most
movie companies tend to hire people, well, here in Sweden, that distribute the movies. They don't have so much with the production itself to do. But especially in SF, they need somebody that's heads up, that knows how difficult it is to hire a 20-something that reads /film. They can hire me if they want. I'm pretty cheap. I'll take half the cash in biobiljetter and half the cash in caramel popcorn. That wouldn't be bad. That would be a pretty good salary.
Yeah. And but you also have to recognize that it is a business, and movies like Transformers and all the Marvel movies, they are going to bring in the money, whilst movies like Under the Skin or John Wick 2 might not bring in as much money. But like that's the whole thing with movies. It's this fine line between like commerce and art, and you kind of have to go on both sides of that line. Sometimes you have to do sacrifices to show, like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say better movies, but you got to show the stranger movies, the smaller movies, because they are, like all movies are, but especially those are works of art, and you can't just keep that from people. And at the same time, you got to bring in the big movies to make money, of course. Yeah. But in Sweden, they seem to almost exclusively
want to bring in the big movies.
Exactly. They don't want to.
Very rarely you see like a gem. Well, of course, in January to March, they always plug in the Oscar movies.
Oh yeah, of course,
of course. They actually have become a little bit better with taking in all the Oscar movies, and it's good that we have other distributors than SF. We have Svenska Bio, we have the one there. Oh, what's the company called? They're building that cinema in Kungsholmen, capital.
I don't know the name. Oh yeah. They buy a lot of weird
films. It's a perfect example of a company that takes in very smaller movies, and I know that Sony Universal, they have a deal with a smaller movie company as well.
Okay.
Because they took in for example, a Swedish movie like Måste Git, a movie about immigrants in, people that live in Jordbro.
Yeah.
And they are taking in small movies, because I have some friends that I know that works there, and they tell me that it's good that they're taking in both bigger and smaller movies. The problem is that SF owns basically 80% of all the cinemas in this country. So they are a huge power factor. And I think that, of course, they want to earn money, but they need to have a researcher that can tell them how things really are. Because I think that they don't really know how much Baby Driver is loved.
Yeah,
Well, unless
exactly.
they're sleeping under a fucking rock, which I believe they're not. I think they're
Yeah,
not well informed.
exactly. And even if, yeah, let's say that the general audience in Sweden are not, maybe not aware of Baby Driver, but imagine if they did some more trailers here in Sweden, some more posters. Just it shows up in bus stops and around the city, and they actually showed it on, like, let's say 10 screens, 20 screenings around Sweden. Just that little amount would, it would raise the public's interest in that movie. And this is a quality movie. And in this year, 2017, we have so few like good AAA blockbuster movies. Most of them are yeah, most of them are trash. I'm just gonna say that. Most big budget movies nowadays are trash. So when we actually get a good one, well, I haven't seen it yet, but the people are telling me it's a good one. Why aren't we like pushing harder for that one?
Yeah.
It's
Why
really weird.
aren't we embracing it?
Yeah, especially with a director. This is like his big comeback. He hasn't made a movie in 4 years even. So this should be a bigger thing. But I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's problematic, and I hope that because this summer, would you say that this blockbuster summer is worse than last year, or this year is better?
No, this year is better.
Oh yeah,
Last year was a fucking landfill. It was
yeah.
terrible.
I've seen two really great blockbuster movies this year. I've seen Wonder Woman and Spider-Man, and I'm looking forward to see the new Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
I
would
honestly believe that Dunkirk will not be a bad movie. It's impossible.
absolutely.
I
No,
can't
it
see
it can't be.
how Christopher Nolan, knock on wood, will drop the ball on that movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't want to spoil our discussion we're going to have about Spider-Man, but I would say I've also seen two good blockbuster movies this year, or summer movies, and that's Wonder Woman and Planet of the Apes. So I'm not mentioning Spider-Man
Oh,
there.
now
It's
the
just
Spider-Man reviews. Thing.
yeah. And with that, let's segue into our third and final news item. Well, no, not our final. You have some things you want to talk about later.
Oh yeah, of course. Just a few little. You can call these Donnie snippets, or
Okay.
or Donnie's what grinds my gears, like that whole news segment Peter Griffin does in the Family Guy movie.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been noticing really is some TV shows need remastering right now. I'm rewatching 6 Feet Under on HBO, and love it. Still a great show.
Mm.
But the two first seasons were filmed in the 4:3 format, which looks on today's televisions is just like a huge square.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because you have these two black squares just next to it, and it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And that show is really in need of a remaster because
Yeah, because it's a good
every
looking
other
show.
show has got their flipping Blu-rays, but
Yeah, but I think that could be a tricky thing for some shows, because I know last year, or I think it was last year, I bought the new X-Files Blu-ray box. It was the first time they were going to release it in HD, and that show was filmed. They do this with most shows actually. They film it in 16:9, the classic widescreen format, but they cut it in 4:3 because it's going to be shown on TV. At least back in the 90s, when most people had like a square TV. Now everyone has a widescreen, but so when they released X-Files now in widescreen, there's like I don't remember what it's called, but it's like you can see that they weren't like the set design wasn't made for widescreen TV. So there are a few scenes, like very small ones, but there are a few scenes in some of the seasons where you can actually, like, you can notice that they have built, that this is a built set. You can like see the edges of the set, and that's probably a problem for some shows that are
Mhm.
in the 4:3 format. So that could be one
Yeah, a lot of sitcoms, I
issue.
think, will have that problem from the
Oh yeah,
90s.
definitely. That's why they don't want to release Seinfeld in HD. Um, However, that show does. If you watch it on, I have the DVDs. If
I
you
would
watch
go
that on
buy a
DVD,
release of Seinfeld that they put like a VHS filter on it. I would just buy it. Doesn't matter if it's pan and scan format. I would buy straight away because it would
yeah,
give the 80s feeling.
yeah. But a show like that, when you watch that on a widescreen TV, it does fill out the screen. It works because well, I'm not a tech guy, but it's some form of widescreen conversion, so it works.
Anamorphic.
Um, yeah, exactly. But the Blu-ray release of Twin Peaks, that is in 4:3. You can't watch that in widescreen. And yeah, it's super weird because the
Did
picture
not
is
know
so
that.
crisp.
You
Yeah,
should
the
tell me
picture is
that.
super crisp, but it's only in 4:3. But I think that's because
Yeah, I
oh
have
my
some
god, what is
Blu-rays
his
that.
name? I forgot. David Lynch.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure, especially the episodes that he directed are like they were built and made for the 4:3 format. So that's why
Yeah.
that show isn't converted into widescreen.
Yeah, and I know there's really old movies that you can't convert to the widescreen format. Like I have some Criterion releases, and I was so annoyed when I saw them first. Why are they in this format? Well,
Yeah,
but 6 Feet Under can be
but
done. It could probably be
yeah,
converted pretty good.
you could probably convert like most HBO shows to widescreen.
Yeah,
They put a little more effort than most
yeah.
TV networks. So yeah, that could probably be done. Um, is there a Blu-ray release or for 6 Feet Under? Is it just DVD?
No, they have not released the Blu-ray.
Oh, well, if they ever do that, maybe it will be
Time
in
will
widescreen.
tell. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
it'll be on HD or on 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
impossible.
that is the next thing. So, no, could happen.
Another thing I've been thinking about as well is the Grammy nominations. They came out, and
Yeah,
Westworld
and
has really got tons of nominations, and I think that's good news for HBO because HBO has only had Game of Thrones to live by. After The Wire got stopped, 6 Feet Under, Sopranos, they haven't had a huge showrunner like Game of
mm,
Thrones. But we all knew that Game of Thrones was going to end. And that was the only thing that basically kept HBO alive. There are some good shows. Silicon Valley is pretty okay. I think Last Week with John Oliver is one of the funnier news shows. But they got
yeah,
new
I
competition. They got Netflix, they got Amazon, they got Hulu, they got all this
Hulu.
competition breathing down their necks. So they knew
Yeah,
they had to make something really special. And I remembered when they told me that it was going to be a remake of Westworld. I thought, and I saw the
yeah.
trailer. I
The
was
first
like,
thing I thought was just yeah.
and I saw
I
the
thought it was going to be
trailer.
so
I was like,
stupid.
it could be okay. And then I saw one name, Jonathan Nolan,
Yeah,
the poor man's version of Christopher Nolan, El Dorado-versionen, if you want to be cynical. But it was good.
Ika basic.
It came out well because it showed HBO they could make something that was gonna take and to take the legacy that Game of Thrones built and maybe just keep going with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't watch a lot of TV series, but I did watch Westworld, and I thought it was pretty good. It was one of the better TV shows I'd watched in a while. I wasn't super into the ending, but that's just me because when I get to the end, I want it to be the end, but they have to set up another season, so that's why I didn't like it. But like overall, I mean, it was like a great production. Every episode looked like a movie, and that's because it's HBO. So yeah, I can really appreciate that show for what it was. But how many nominations did it get?
I haven't looked it up, but they probably got one. I think it was basically in every category.
Yeah,
that it could be nominated. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins and Evan Rachel Wood and Jeffrey Wright got nominations, rightfully so.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Newton got one, because that was my favorite character.
She was good, but she really got it she wasn't really in the show that much in the beginning, but like towards the middle, she became like a bigger character in the show. So I liked her too. But my favorite, I think, right, that was my favorite actor in the show.
Ah, he was fantastic, and so was Ed Harris. He was.
Yeah, well, he was Ed Harris.
Yeah, and he was good.
Yeah, he was. But yeah, I skimmed through some of the nominations, but I downloaded like a PDF with every nomination, and I was just scrolling through them, and there was all like this, voiceover work for animated shows, short animated shows, and I realized there was 67 pages of nominations, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna read 67 pages of this. No, so I just scrolled through it.
Because they have a pre-Emmys show where they award the international shows, so that could be interesting. I don't know if Sweden was nominated.
No, I don't think. Are there any good Swedish television shows?
Bron
at the moment. Yeah, but that haven't been on for like a year or two.
No. I can't come up with a good Swedish TV show. There's probably one. Somebody's gonna scream at me soon. How can you forget?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But the one show I noticed had a lot of nominations, at least that I saw, was The Crown. That the Netflix show.
Good show. I liked it.
I didn't watch it, but you liked it.
Yeah, it was good, but it wasn't. It was a pretty good show, but it's written by Abby Morgan, that I think is a great screenwriter. She's good.
But
it was beautifully done, but it's too much royalist porr for my taste. It's too much. Look at the King and Queen of England, and I have a little problem with shows that paint kings and queens as fantastic fucking people.
That's
why I'm not gonna see this new Judi Dench movie where she's a queen and talks to an Indian guy, because it seems like a British version of that French movie with that black guy that helps a disabled French guy. Oh, what is it called?
Oh yeah, Yeah, probably I think
one of the decade's most overrated movies.
Yeah, like it's called like the butterfly in the diving bell was the English translation of the French title.
The diving bell is the one that douchebag. What is it called? Oh, he wrote for Elle. He was like the chief editor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's in bed.
That's not.
No, because this.
Yeah, that's not the same one. Yeah,
that's this black. I think he's from Senegal. And he works.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. It was really. Yeah, and that's why I didn't watch it. I'm way too cynical for that. It was. It was. It felt way too smarmy.
If it's in the bargain bin.
Yeah, I remember it was being sold in a lot of I guess women's magazines.
Yeah,
I don't know, like Elle, and we have what else we have in Sweden? Femina. Yeah, and all those. But and we're giving you a movie this month, and it was that one. It was that kind of a movie. I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna watch that. Not gonna watch that. Nope. I'll watch something else.
Yeah.
But back to the Emmys. You watch a lot more TV than I do. So
I tried to see a lot, but it's difficult. I should be
yeah,
honest. I haven't seen the whole first season of Atlanta yet. I haven't
yeah.
seen.
No, I haven't even watched it. So
I haven't seen the whole second season of Master of None, Master One, the show with Aziz Ansari. There is a
yeah.
lot of stuff I haven't seen. I get very impressed with my brother, who is a full-time teacher. He's a dad, and he has times to play video games, watch movies, listen to podcasts, and look at TV shows. If he doesn't have a cocaine habit, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's
But based on
difficult.
the oh, yeah, it is. That's why I don't watch TV shows. It takes up
Yeah.
too much of my time. But based on the shows you have seen, which we're just gonna do the big category here.
Mhm.
Best actor and actress, because they divided like that, right?
Mhm.
Actor and actress, yeah. And best show, yeah, I guess the drama, because that's like the biggest.
Yeah. Take the drama category. So the
Yeah,
nominees there, I think it's Westworld. I think The Crown is nominated there.
yeah.
Uh, any read up? Do you have the list, or should I look it
N-
up?
No, I don't have the list because I only found that long list, and I it was too much. Uh, I could probably
I'll
find them.
fix it up.
Okay. Um, but yeah, just based on
I got it here. I got it here. I got it here. Nominations. Please don't make me open a. Yeah, outstanding drama series. Let's
okay.
make it.
What?
Don't make me play a fucking video. I don't want to see a video. Yeah, here. Oh, if it's behind a paywall, I'm gonna kick New York Times in the ass. Okay, it's not. Okay, best drama. Oof. We got Better Call
Good.
Saul, The Crown, Handmaid's Tale, House of Cards, Stranger Things, This Is Us, and Westworld. This is the
Okay.
only one that I do not know nothing about.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those. I've seen Westworld. I've seen Stranger Things.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I did. Uh, yeah, I liked it. I'm not sure I liked it as much as other people did, but it was a
Oh
good
yeah,
show.
some
It was
people
well made.
thought it was like the best show ever done, but let's
Yeah,
not
like
let's
the
not
second coming or
put
something.
in
No,
too
let's
much
calm.
cherry on the cake. It was
Exactly,
good.
calm down. It was a good show. And I watched a little bit of Better Call Saul, but I really didn't get into it. And that's just me with spin-offs and sequels and stuff. But that's the three I watched, and I haven't seen any of the others. Which did you have you seen? Did you see all of them, or there was one you haven't seen?
Yeah, it's This Is Us. I haven't seen it at all.
Okay, but
Handmaid's Tale is so good. I can recommend that.
yeah, yeah, I want to watch it, but um, there's so much talk about uh, how it reflects America as it is right now, and um, um, yeah, not to get into too much politics, but I guess where feminists are more left leaning, I'm more right leaning. So when they praise that show that much, I have kind of a hard time appreciating it that much. But I do want to see it. I want to give it a shot. I just haven't done it yet.
Remember that there's always going to be basically any show. You're always going to find people that, man, I know there are a lot of guys that go around in tribal tattoos. They love Fight Club. They almost destroyed Fight Club for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
usually
I
guys in
suppose.
tribal tats with way too tight shirts from Ed Hardy. They're now the clothing
Yeah,
of day traders. I'm so glad
but
we don't have censors. They probably would punch the shit out of me for saying that.
No,
And they
you
were
can.
like, "Oh,
We
I
can say
thought that
whatever you
was
want there.
such a great movie, man! Oh, it's so great because it's about fighting."
Yeah,
And it's sad
exactly.
when people miss the point. And I know there's tons of great movies. Wolf of Wall Street is another great example. With people see the movies, naked chicks and cocaine, man. That's what the movie is
Yeah,
about.
then
No,
you're
it
kind of
was
missing the
about
point.
that greed will destroy you. I got so upset when people say that Martin Scorsese glamorized. I think he glamorized to glamorized. He made it so people could see how flipping ugly it is when people are butt ass rich.
Yeah, but he didn't do it in a like a he didn't overdo it.
No.
He made the audience, figure it out for themselves. That's why that movie's so good.
Yeah.
He didn't like wag a finger in our face. It's like, this is bad, you shouldn't do this.
No.
He just showed it for what it was, and then we had to interpret it. That's what made that movie so fucking good.
But don't worry what other people say about Handmaid's Tale. Listen to Danny. See it. I like it.
Okay.
It's a smart
I'm
show.
gonna see it then. Yeah.
But
based on those nominations, which one do you think is going to win for best drama?
this is difficult. We have no Game of Thrones nominated because the last season hasn't begun yet. It's an open field, but I think actually it could be Westworld or Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it would be fun if Westworld took it.
Yeah.
As I told you, it's one of the greater HBO shows.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to production quality and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but just to mention Stranger Things again. That show, I don't know, it was a good show, but in comparison with the other nominations, that feels more like a viewer's choice or the audience choice. It doesn't actually feel like a best drama show of the year. No. It's that kind of a show. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being that kind of a show. It's just it's in a different league, I would say.
Competing against more mature content.
Yeah,
exactly. Was this beautiful homage of 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people liked it, because people could just feel this sense of Steven Spielberg-ish aura that it had.
Definitely.
And that's why I like it. Some people say it's Netflix's best show ever, but we all know what Netflix show is. The three first seasons of House of Cards. Then House of Cards drops the ball a bit. Man, I love to say drops the ball. What's up with my sports metaphors?
But about House of Cards, I watched the first season and I thought it was great. But I thought they kind of ruined the second season. But that's once again, that's me and television. Just how they kind of they just like cut off all loose ends in like the first 2 episodes of the second season. Like, oh, let's just kill these characters, let's get rid of that storyline, and then you just continue with what they thought was more important. But I feel that was like the same thing with like Orange is the New Black. The second season just didn't interest me at all. Where the first season,
I lost interest of that show. Second season too.
Yeah, me too. I thought the first season was really good.
Everyone loves when people start talking about it at work. I was like, what? Don't you like Orange is the New Black? Have you seen Westworld? No, it seems too difficult for me. No, rocket science is difficult. Establishing democracy in North Korea, that's difficult. Watching Westworld, that's not difficult. But
no,
I don't like shows
it could
make me think. Oh my gosh, then don't watch any shows at all.
Yeah, and that's why they're pushing
that show or that movie makes me think.
Yeah, and that's why they're pushing.
Because everything makes you think, man. If you laugh, it's because it triggered a thought in you that this is funny because this makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking in a philosophical sense, but everything makes you think.
Yeah, exactly. And just got to see it. Martin wrote again in the chat here. He said, "Don't you dare say anything bad about Stranger Things." You see, he's one of those people.
Yeah,
He thinks it's the
he's one of
greatest show
those
ever.
people.
No, I'm kidding, Martin. I'm kidding.
It's okay. I still love him. It's a good show.
It is a good show. It's one of the better
Yeah.
TV shows I've seen in a while.
I flippin' got a friend to buy me Eggo waffles from America when he went there. That's kind of how I like the show. Oh, when I take off my glasses and look at my hair, I look like Ian Brown from Stone Roses. There's like this whole war growing up here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that looks good.
Glasses.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
That's glasses for you. But so just do you have any idea what show is going to win?
Oh, it's such an open field
Handmaid's
this year. I think,
but you think
when it comes to
Handmaid's Tale or
I think Handmaid's Tale could take it because the content is so it's so
poignant?
compatible to the political, and I think they want to make a political thing.
Yeah,
But
that's kind of everything right now.
Because it was a show that really shocked, because it made us ask the simplest philosophical question. If we had the possibility to make copies of humans, but not giving them the human things that we really have, like the body, we could give them the thought. Because it was very philosophical all the time. What would happen if we gave them the possibility to choose?
Yeah.
And I think that this Westworld is much more political than Handmaid's Tale in that sense, but it talks about the problem with free will. Because even the robots start having free will as well.
Yeah, and that's one part, or one thing that I didn't really agree with the show about, how to deal with AI and how to deal with like thinking machines. But that's a discussion for another day.
Oh yeah, we should have one when we come closer to the premiere of season 2, autumn 2018. It's supposed to come.
Jesus.
It's a long time.
Yeah. But we've been let's see here. It's almost 9 already, so I think it's time to.
I think we should get to the main point.
Exactly. So, our last news item is actually about Spider-Man: Homecoming. So let's do a general discussion about the movie and then talk a little bit more about that news item when we get there. How's that?
Låter bra. Sounds good.
Yeah. So first, I think we should do a disclaimer. I might spoil some things if we get into like a big discussion about the movie. And the movie has been out for a week now. So yeah. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man yet and you want to see it, there might be spoilers. So, either stop watching or be prepared to close your ears because we might spoil some things. We're going to try not to, right?
So, how are we gonna do this? Do you want me to talk first, or?
Yeah, I could just start by just asking you, in general, did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it, you have to remember that when I go to see blockbuster movies from the MCU, my first thought is to see it as entertainment, not try and analyzing it or try to see any structural problems. I can do that later. I just want to see it as first and foremost. If I see something that would be blatantly racist or sexist, of course I would react on that. But I try to see it with a very open mind. And for me, MCU movies have one general problem, and it's filmed in a special set of filter that I can't appreciate.
Yeah,
the movies look so unesthetically ugly to me.
Yeah, we discussed
You know,
this
they
in our
looks
last
the
stream.
only movie that actually makes an exception was the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and then unfortunately they just took that color palette and just push it to neon.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
Spider-Man: Homecoming, it's still it's a little bit better looking than the other MCU movies, but it had something that the other MCU movies kind of forget. Uh, the complexity of the main character. I think that if, for a while they have forgotten complexity and instead just put a lot of exposition instead of trying to make some complexity. And that's where, like with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, he's actually a very funny Spider-Man, very nerdish, childlike. Some reviewer compared it with Tom Cruise in Risky Business, and I think it's a pretty nice. It's a compliment. I must say it was pretty good comparison,
yeah,
and that's
sure.
where I find
Tom.
Tom Holland. He's a fun Spider-Man. He's lovable, and the whole movie felt very lovable. But
Oh
when
yeah,
it went
yeah.
dark, it got dark, but wasn't that? It wasn't like ugly dark.
No.
Actually, I find actually the antagonist kind of sympathetic, which is
Oh
difficult.
yeah, yeah. Especially in
Maybe because
Marvel movies.
I'm weak for Michael Keaton, but there was something with the antagonist there. But it was a good movie. It managed to give Marvel Cinematic Universe a bit of more respect because I was not a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I was very hard on it when I came out because we met after the movie
Yeah,
because we took the. I
we
was
watched it.
so angry. I
Yeah.
thought it was way too long. It was too much exposition. It was too much crashes, too much colors, too much. Blah, blah. And
Yeah, they were
I
just
told myself
they were.
I have to see it again. And I saw it the second time. I thought it was still too much. Two crashes that had nothing to do with the movie, and it was way too long.
Oh yeah.
But it's an okay movie, but nothing compared to the first one.
No, no, no. I
But
uh,
this Spider-Man movie, it's good entertainment, and it's a good blockbuster movie. You have fun with it, and there's fun characters. The characters that are douchey, oh, you hate them. And I'm talking about this character that calls him Penis Parker all the time.
yeah,
Did you feel
yeah,
like you wanted to punch that flipping kid? I hate that kid.
well,
He's a good actor. He's
yeah,
such a good
exactly.
actor. He wants me to punch him.
Yeah. No, I thought it was at first because that character is from the comic books. It's Flash
Mhm.
Thompson. It's like the main bully in the original series. What I know. Um, and at first I thought it was a little jarring because he's always been a jock in the comic books. The
But here he
classical
was
like
kind of a
football
nerd.
guy. Yeah, and at first that was kind of jarring, but then I realized that the school he goes to isn't. It's not like a regular high school. It's like some kind of like it's like a science high school or something because everyone is.
It feels like a soda mom school for gifted kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
serve
sort of.
vegan
So,
food.
yeah, so they kind of had to make him fit into the movie, so that makes sense. But that was a little weird to me. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
That's Flash Thompson? He's supposed to be like 6'9" and be this big burly football guy." But I don't know. But it made sense in the movie. But in general, I liked the movie too. It was definitely one of the better MCU movies, at least for a while now. I think Winter Soldier is still my favorite.
Yeah, Winter
Um,
Soldier is good.
yeah, it's probably the best Marvel movie, at least in the MCU. But I like this one. It was a little too long. Even if it was like 2 hours and 16 minutes or something, it was too long. I
You mean
actually
16 minutes, not 60 minutes. That would be
yeah, yeah,
3
yeah, 2 hours
hours.
and 16 minutes. Yeah. Um, and I actually kind of fell asleep in the middle.
Ooh.
because I was kind of bored. Yeah, that's like a bad sign. Because I have a tendency, especially if I'm watching it in the cinema, if a movie, if I'm not like connecting with the characters, or at least feel that the action scenes are exciting, I kind of zone out. Um, I try not to do it, because I have to watch the movie. But this one, it was hard in the middle, because I thought it really, it slowed down like tremendously, especially around the scene. It's in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, but the scene on the ferry, when he has to, in trailer, when he has to hold together the boat with the webbing.
Yeah.
I just at that moment, at that point in the movie, it's like, can we just get on with the story? It
I
was,
actually liked that scene, and then I have difficulties for long drawn action scene, but this one was pretty okay. I felt my pulse racing, so I thought, what's gonna
yeah,
happen? What's gonna happen? I know what's gonna happen, but I want to see that it happens. Of course,
yeah,
we knew the thing I expected to happen was gonna happen.
yeah, and but it wasn't the action in particular. It was just like the movie had kind of, the story had kind of stopped. It felt like, especially because the movie kind of focused a lot on Peter Parker more than the plot of him stopping the bad guy, and I felt that in the middle they stopped focusing on Peter Parker and was only talking about the story about him trying to catch the bad guy, and I felt they should have focused, brought the focus back onto Peter Parker. And that's why I felt like at that moment I was like, oh, another action scene. Can we just get on with it instead? But in general, I did I watched it with my family because it was my sister's birthday, so we watched it with my entire family. So my mom kind of nudged me because she saw I was like nodding off. So I did stay awake. And so I felt the movie. Yeah, it was really, I don't want to say boring. Yeah, it was a little bit boring there in the middle. But my interest got piqued a little later when Peter Parker met a certain someone. You know the scene.
We're talking about the prom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When
that was
when he
that was
oh
well built. I did not see that coming.
yeah, and that was that kind of because fuck it, spoilers.
Yeah,
Fuck it,
yeah,
spoilers, spoilers. When Michael Keaton opened the door, I like for real like, oh, and I actually started smiling, which I hadn't done for like the last 30 minutes in the movie, because that was so exciting to see,
Yeah.
like not a physical standoff between Spider-Man and the Vulture, but to actually see them almost like, at least from Michael Keaton's side of it, almost like playfully threatening
Taunting
Peter
him
Parker and
like a
yeah,
cat,
taunting him.
like a cat when it finds a bird. It basically
Yeah,
just mentally bullies the bird,
yeah,
and that's what Michael
and
Keaton did. And I like that was good build up.
yeah, especially because when he first opened the door, you weren't sure that you knew that Peter Parker recognized the Vulture, but you weren't sure that the Vulture recognized Peter Parker. So he was kind of like, does he know? Are they gonna like snap? What's gonna happen? And then in the car, we find out that he knew all the time. It was this subtle battle of wits that I haven't seen before in a Marvel movie. Because usually, when it comes to like subtlety in Marvel movies, it's them saying, I don't agree with you, and then they start punching each other. That was basically all of Civil War.
Yeah, and then comes the funny one-liners.
Yeah,
but it was
like no, I was just gonna say. Okay, you go ahead.
A funny detail in the movies are these PSAs with Captain America. I found them a bit funny, actually.
that was good world building, I would say, like good
Yeah.
integration of the other Marvel movies into this one. But yeah, so that was really uh, that was probably my favorite part of the movie. The fact that they humanized the bad guy way more than they've done in any other movie.
Yeah. I
And
loved
that
it.
yeah, and that you had this more subtle kind of it almost became like a thriller instead of an action movie for a while, and it was really well made. I really bought this situation, and the fact that he like said that you better treat my daughter right or I'm going to kill you, and leave me alone. That whole thing really worked much better than in any other Marvel movie. So yeah, for all the faults, for all the things I didn't like about it, that scene, especially that part of the movie, really like helped with the movie for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely one of the better Marvel movies, I think.
I would put
MCU
it.
movies.
I'm agreeing. Putting it as better. But there's some details that I really, really love. Because I love when the technology part of the movie. The spider suit was awesome. When he
Okay, there.
cracks the code and then suddenly like I thought this is the coolest Spider-Man suit ever. I loved it. 'Cause I'm a sucker for little detail things, and the dialogue
Yeah,
that he has with the
his
voice,
AI.
yeah, with the
Yeah,
AI, is funny.
yeah, that was great. That really felt like a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah,
Giving her a name and starting, instead of talking tech with her, like starting talking emotions and stuff. That was fun. However, except for that, I completely disagree. I hated that suit. It was so not. It was so not Spider-Man. It felt more like an Iron Man suit. It was, I don't know. Um,
but they
when
gave
he
Spider-Man cooler features, and it
yeah
played well because it was a nerdish kid that was Spider-Man, so it makes everything so much more fun and more vivid for the kid.
yeah, but once again, it took focus away from like Peter Parker coming to terms with who he is, and the whole like taking responsibility when you have this power. That's also the fact that they didn't have that line in the movie that they always have: with great power comes great responsibility.
Mhm.
I understand why they didn't have it, because it's been in every Spider-Man movie, and it's kind of tiring. But that is like it's still Spider-Man's like it's
It's a
his
thing you
mantra. It's his
expect to hear, right?
yeah, and it's a big part of his what do you call it? Not logic. It's a big part of who he is, of his creed, if you will.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is, he is more than his powers. He has to take responsibility for what he does, um, when he wields these powers. The fact that the suit did most of the work for him, I mean, he had an AI, he had a GPS, and all those things. It kind of removed responsibility away from him. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading way too much into
Oh,
it,
no,
but
but
that it
that's
just
an interesting analysis. I just saw it more as look at the childish enthusiasm, and I think that
oh,
whole
sure, sure.
responsibility part didn't really exist in the movie. It's like they took a whole other turn. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies were much more about seeking identity,
Yeah, exactly.
and here it comes, and that's why I appreciate the Sam Raimi movies more because they're
Good.
more mentally complex.
Yes,
Because
they're
Tobey
they're a bit more
Maguire
mature.
is by a moose fjärt a better Spider-Man than Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire had something in it. The
Yeah,
the way that Peter Parker finds love in this movie, I was not really convinced. It
yeah,
felt like the interest wasn't well. It was more the direction didn't felt as passionate. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson, that's a whole other passion.
yeah,
And
because
how
that
many
was the
people haven't dreamt of emulating that stupid upside down kiss? It, it's
yeah,
it's a part of movie iconography.
yeah.
And
I would argue
and
that. Yeah,
and Sam Raimi is of course a really fantastic director. I see people
yeah,
jumping around and screaming, "Hell yeah!"
and I actually think I should message him because I think he jumped out of the stream because I said spoilers. Um,
Oh,
I'm
smart.
just gonna tell him he can come back
Yeah,
now.
we're not gonna spoil.
Exactly. I'm just gonna message him. Um, but yeah, I agree. There was definitely a bigger focus on the relationship between Mary Jane and Peter Parker in the
In
Raimi
here
movies.
with the new girl. But you know what, girl? I think because obviously there's coming a sequel.
Oh yeah,
That cool Zendaya, or what's her name? She was. Oh my gosh! I feel here's a theory I have. We talked about the manic pixie dream girl
yeah,
theory, right? I talked
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Christopher as well. This is such a screenwriter. Like, this is the type of girl you really want. You think you want the beautiful, well, you want the quirky one that
Well,
says
yeah.
smart stuff. No, I don't want to go into the monument. It was built by slaves. It was
Oh, I
so.
hated
Because
that
I
one.
thought
Ah,
I would hang with this girl, but it was such a director thing and a screenwriter thing to just do that. So they really
yeah, yeah.
they didn't do it subtle that det kommer bli de två. I understand
No,
it's gonna be them two in next Spider-Man. Please, there's some
yeah,
funny
and it's
theories, but they're too spoiler filled, so people can look at them themselves.
yeah, yeah. I thought she was a little too like sarcastic.
Mm,
She was it was yeah, it was a little exaggerated, but she was a fun character.
yeah,
And definitely, yeah, she was a she should have been in the movie a little bit more, but to be like a proper manic pixie dream girl. But yeah, definitely she was that stereotype. And I have to agree. I am definitely more attracted to manic pixie dream girls than the like conventional
yeah. But I have one
women.
question for you. Are you
Yeah,
gonna buy the Lego Star Wars Death Star?
no, I I'm not falling for that one, Marvel or Disney.
Five
Yeah, that was.
5,900, no, 5,200 kroner it costs.
Oh my god,
Yeah, I was at the Lego
that
store
was
Mall in Scandinavia the other day, and there's a
yeah.
guy, pretty young guy that works there. We had good conversation. He told me that when he has worked, he has only sold 2 copies. None of them were sold after Spider-Man Homecoming. They were sold before.
Yeah, I just that whole thing.
Then he
I mean,
told me a really sad story that he sold it to a kid that has like a terminal illness, and I was like, hope the kid gets to build it at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But just that
But
whole thing.
Marvel really wants us to buy their stuff.
Exactly. That was such blatant advertising. It's like ridiculous.
Ah,
And there was a bunch, and not a bunch more, but there were a few more Star Wars references. He had some action figures in his room and stuff.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, we get it. Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel. We get it. You don't have to sell your goddamn Lego in your movies. How about you focus on the movie instead? But
I wouldn't be surprised if Disney buys Lego.
well, then they own everything. Then
That, that, that,
they own everything. Then they have Star Wars, they have Marvel, they have Lego. They control the world.
yeah.
Fuck, fuck the Rothschilds. Fuck Illuminati.
No,
Disney.
Disney is Disney money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Disney money. Um.
But we should talk about
But
this article that you found. that talks about
Yeah, exactly.
sympathetic villain.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, this was probably one of the better villains in a Marvel movie, an MCU movie, and that was an article I found in Rolling Stones magazine, and it's titled. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, here. It's titled "How Spider-Man: Homecoming Gave the Movies a Sympathetic Trump-Era Supervillain." And the under that it says Michael Keaton's Vulture is a world-class bad guy and a working-class stiff who feels like he's been shafted by society. And I thought it was an interesting way to look at it because there is, even if you don't get all the references to this theory, you definitely feel like he is a more sympathetic villain, because he doesn't just want to take over the world, or his main goal isn't to kill Spider-Man. His main goal is to provide for his family.
Yeah.
So he is definitely a more sympathetic
villain.
It
felt noble. It felt really noble.
Yeah, and then he strays too far to the dark side, if you will. But it's just a product of like greed almost, and that's what makes him a bad guy. But that you could almost argue that he starts out as a victim, but then takes control of the situation. And I thought it was interesting, and the fact that I don't know, when I first read the title of the article, I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit, because I felt they were politicizing the movie too much by like drawing references to Trump era. They even call him or they mention that he's the kind of person that could have voted for Trump.
Nah.
I don't know, what was your what did you think about the article?
I think it was fun to read. It takes up some valid points about. It was a villain that you could sympathize with, understand. He wasn't evil to be evil. He was a family provider, kind of a blue collar worker.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's how he is in the beginning.
Coming to the end of the movie, I had sympathy for him. I did not hate him.
No,
I hated more the fucking jock kid.
Yeah.
The actor has a punchable face.
But what was I gonna say? Oh no, I lost my train of thought. No, I just I'm not sure. I'm not super into politics. So I didn't really. I wasn't sure if they were in the article. Maybe you understood this better. I don't know if they were like making out as a good thing that he's sympathetic, or a bad thing that he's sympathetic. Basing on that it's a Trump era bad guy. Is it a good thing that we sympathize with him, or is it a bad thing?
No, it doesn't really give that out.
No, exactly. Okay, yeah. Because that was one thing I was wondering. But the way
he would not be a villain to not feel shame for, if you like. There are worse villains and worse heroes as well. Because if you're gonna look at it, it's really Tony Stark somebody to look up. He's a fucking weapons merchant. Sells fucking weapons.
And they mentioned that in the movie as well.
I found that more problematic.
Yeah, and just to dig a little deeper there, I felt that Tony Stark, he almost came off, especially towards the end, he almost came off a little creepy, in some scenes, like when he wanted, when he offered Peter Parker like a room in the new Avengers hideout, or whatever you'd call it, headquarters, and it was almost, I almost felt like a cultish vibe, that he was gonna introduce the new Avenger, and you can live here, and we're gonna tell your aunt that you're working for me. It was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of weird somehow.
I have a question about the Avengers building. Do you think they got Star Wars Lego?
Probably. and they're gonna
Thor is building one of those flipping Death Stars.
yeah, and they're gonna focus like 20 minutes out of Infinity War on showing how they build Lego because it's fun. It's a team building exercise
Yeah.
just to sell more Lego, probably.
And I can see a scene accidentally stomp on a piece of Lego and will get so pissed.
Yeah.
Because no
That
one can
surprise me.
take the pain of a Lego brick. It fucking hurts.
Yeah, it does. Uh,
But generally, I think MCU actually can learn from Spider-Man Homecoming. And I hope they can learn as well from Wonder Woman how to
Yeah.
tell a story.
yeah, because if you want to draw parallels between those two movies, they are both Wonder Woman and Homecoming they're part of a bigger franchise. I mean, we have the
Mhm.
DC EU and the MCU, but both of these movies focused more on like telling the story of Wonder Woman. It focused more on telling the story of Spider-Man. It didn't, especially Wonder Woman. There were like almost no like Easter eggs about future movies. They didn't have any like sidetracks about characters this is going to appear in Justice League. It was like solely focused on Wonder Woman, and it was the same thing in Spider-Man Homecoming. I mean, if you cut all the Tony Stark scenes out of the movie, you wouldn't even know that it is a MCU movie, I would say.
Nah, true.
Yeah, and that's what made it good, because most other MCU movies just feel like they're there to set up future movies.
Yeah.
This actually felt
What's
like a
the
movie.
next big movie they have to set up for? Is
I don't know. They
coming
said
a third Avengers movie shortly?
yeah, that's the Infinity War. It comes out next year, and that's going to be like a two-parter. So I think in 2019 there's going to be Infinity War Part 2. I think. But after that, because from what I understand, that's what they're building towards. That's what they have been building towards ever since, basically since the first Iron Man. Because now they're actually going to square off with the purple guy. What's it called? Thanos.
Mhm.
That has been the bad guy that's been like lurking in the like behind the scenes of every movie. Yeah, Infinity War could be like an ending to the MCU, but they don't want to stop make money, so I think they've already planned what's going to happen in Phase 4. I think they're calling it. So I don't know. It's almost like a TV show that's been going on for a little too long now.
Yeah. Someday
They're
they
the
have to reboot.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going to have to reboot to be able to make more money, but they should just stop making them.
Yeah, go and focus on other superheroes.
Yeah, because like with the Dark Knight trilogy, they told the story of Batman. They ended the story like with a it's like this is the end. There's not going to be any more Batman movies. And it was good because we got a definite ending. It was a satisfying ending. But Warner Brothers still want to make money, so they rebooted it and did the Batfleck. And they're probably going to do the same thing with Marvel. Once they finish this Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're just going to continue like rebooting it or I don't know. And that's one of the things I don't like about these franchises. They don't want to stop. They go on. What do you call it when you're? Yeah, exactly. They become too greedy. They sacrifice, I guess, artistic integrity for a financial benefit.
Yeah, because now I think that Infinity War will be like a huge who's who of the Marvel world.
Yeah, there's going to be.
Deadpool is still not invited, so that sucks.
Yeah, because he's 20th Century Fox. But I mean, Spider-Man is technically still owned by Sony, but they let him be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah. for what this is, if we're just gonna talk about Spider-Man, it was a good movie. I liked it.
And
It
I
had
look
its problems.
forward to a sequel. Normally, when I see a superhero movie, I think, oh, this is enough. But this time, I want to see a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not eagerly anticipating a sequel, but I'll probably go see it.
Yeah.
When eventually
like
the sequel
Tom
comes
Holland
out.
was a good Spider-Man, and I look forward to see him.
Yeah,
As well.
that's also
can do other roles as well.
Yeah,
I think he
exactly.
can have a bright future, not be typecast.
I hope so, because I've only seen him in The Impossible. You know, the movie about the tsunami in Thailand.
Isn't he? He's the oldest one, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was much younger in that one, but he was still good. He was
Don't
good.
forget that movie is made by the same director that made El Orfanato.
Yeah, it's J.A. Bayona, or what it's called.
Bayona. He made as well, what it's called, A Monster Calls.
No, that wasn't him. That was Brian Bertino, one of my well, I shouldn't say favorite directors, but Brian Bertino did The Strangers. You know that movie with the 3D intruders.
My little brother
Liv Tyler.
Me to that movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I love that movie.
What is A Monster Calls, that movie with Felicity Jones and she's dying of cancer?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That was me. I was mixing them up. I was thinking about The Monster. Yeah, A Monster Calls. That is Bayona, I think.
Why?
I haven't seen it, though.
That's another proof of a movie that SF just hid away in 3 screens or something like that.
Yeah, it came out just before Christmas. Nobody watched it.
It was a good movie. I thought it was good. It was a little bit Oscar baity, but
yeah, well, it was still good.
Yeah,
It was.
I will buy it at a reabacke.
In a bargain bin.
Yeah.
No, I would probably. I haven't bought it, but I probably would.
Movies in physical format. Do you think the physical format in movies can be reinvented like the vinyl? I have a theory here. Let's see if you agree with me. Vinyls are starting to sell good because people want to hear music in physical format because it gets you closer to music. With movies, you can't really do that unless you totally reinvent the Laserdisc format, a format nobody wants.
Nope.
It's beautiful.
But
I think the only way movie companies can start earning money back, it's make good special editions of movies.
Exactly.
Not just give me a bare bones release of the movie, because that doesn't give the fans nothing.
No, exactly. I'm a staunch defender of physical media, as you can see, and I will keep buying Blu-rays and DVDs for as long as they sell them. But honestly, if it weren't for like special features or behind the scenes stuff, I would probably go over completely to streaming. Most movies nowadays doesn't have a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Basically Criterion, and what's that British movie company name?
Arrow.
Oh, speaking of Arrow Video, you still have My Life Force.
Yeah, I actually think I have it in my...
Have you seen both versions now?
Are there 2 versions?
Yeah.
I only saw the one, I think. I don't know.
Did you change the cover?
Yeah, I flipped it to the original.
Yeah, okay, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
Bring it on Wednesday when we're gonna watch Flippin' Dunkirk.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick recommendation. If you if you like weird, kind of unfinished, but at the same time like weirdly epic sci-fi, watch Life Force.
Would you
it's
say
super
it's
off kilter, but
best movie?
You're
gonna say Runaway Train, aren't you?
I actually haven't seen Runaway Train. I do want to see it, but I haven't.
I think that Runaway Train is okay, but it's flipping overrated.
Yeah, okay. It was Oscar nominated, right?
Yes, it was Oscar nominated in 2 categories.
That's insane.
Best, John Voight and Eric Roberts. Yeah, but Canon Films.
Oh yeah.
I have plans to buy a Canon Films T-shirt because would be so nice to have.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary, Electric Boogaloo?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've seen the other one that totally sucked.
Oh, the Golden Boys of Hollywood or whatever it's called. Yeah. That was terrible. But I think my favorite canon movie is actually Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Oh, didn't know that they made it.
No, they did. They bought the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this is why I defend physical media. Just a quick thing here.
It's an video releases. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's massive. You have I think 3 discs on here, and then you have like a 106-page book about the movie. It's insane.
God, it's like the Blade Runner collection that you can buy on Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're never gonna get all this stuff on streaming, so that's why I still buy movies physically.
It's good that we defend the physical format.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we need to wrap it up because I'm gonna go work tomorrow, and I want to see. I'm gonna see The World's End. Then I see all the movies, and then I'm gonna watch Scott Pilgrim next week, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little sidetracked here. We're gonna talk about Spider-Man. So yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Cornetto, they only have the original ice cream left now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the red one at all. The green one is impossible to get. I think you had to go to England to eat it.
Yeah, I don't even think they stopped making it even before the movie came out. They had to manufacture the wrapper for the movie. But let's wrap up the discussion about Spider-Man then.
Yeah.
If you were going to grade it on a 1 to 10 scale, what would you say?
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, and would you say that this I don't know, not redeems the MCU, but do you think this is like the start of a like more quality movies that are going to come out from the?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
That this is like.
I hope Wonder Woman gives the Warner the DC extended universe some
more quality. Yeah,
because
I hope so. That's
coming this evening, and I'm very surprised that they haven't made that much promotional material for it as they should.
No, not yet. I don't know, man. Yeah, and I would probably say I would give Spider-Man, probably like a 6 or 7.
Right.
It was good. It's probably the next best Marvel movie next to Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it does look like they're trying to take the whole franchise in another direction, because this movie was directed by John Watts, who isn't he's not a typical action movie director. I mean, he made what's the movie? Oh, what movie? Do you remember what movie he made before this? I can't remember. It was like a quirky teen comedy. So and the same thing is happening with Thor that comes out later this year. Have you seen the trailer for that one?
No.
When Thor has to fight with you should check it out. That actually looks good. Thor has to go to some alien gladiator arena and fight the Hulk. And it's directed by Taika Waititi, who he was involved in Flight of the Conchords, and he made one of the best comedies of this century, What We Do in the Shadows. You know, the one about the mockumentary about vampires in New Zealand. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you need to see that. And the fact that they're picking these kinds of I guess, different kind of directors for their new Marvel movies. I guess it feels like a bit of a watershed moment right now, that they're gonna shoot for more quality over quantity, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope that.
Yeah. So
he's made a movie with Kevin Bacon that's called Cop Car. John Watts.
Yeah, that's John Watts. Oh, I was thinking about another movie, but yeah, Cop Car is great. Have you seen it?
No, I'm probably gonna look it up now.
Oh yeah, you should. It's this great little, like a super small, super low budget movie about two kids who steal a cop car. It's great. It's really, really good. You should check that out. But yeah. So that's a really positive thing, that they're hiring, kind of different directors, not these like directors for hire. They're actually hiring or they're like more auteurs, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. I am a bit more excited about the MCU now than I were before.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but that's the ending. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, it's been fun to. Thank you for inviting me.
Definitely.
I see you on Wednesday, so.
Yeah, we're gonna see you on Wednesday. We're gonna watch Dunkirk.
70 flipping millimeter.
Yes, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think it would be a better experience than IMAX.
Definitely. After watching Hateful Eight in 70 millimeters, I don't want to. Yeah, call me a film douche if you will, but 70 millimeters, it just beats IMAX.
Oh yeah, time. When I saw Hateful Eight, it was magic.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, it's a bit pretentious, but the picture was so much better than like a digital projection. So much better. But that's for another show. Would you want to come back and do this another time? Talk some more movie news? Great. And we're gonna try to set that up. For the future. But is there anything you want to plug before we leave? You were talking about a podcast. If you want to like mention that again, or
look up the podcast. You must remember this. Katharina Longworth does very well documented research and tells stories about Hollywood. She's made a podcast about Marlon Brando. She's made a 10-episode podcast about Charles Manson and the Manson murders and everything around it. So it's really good stuff. She's made a 10-episode special about Joan Crawford.
Really?
That I listened to before watching Feud. That's my favorite TV show of this year. Feud wasn't nominated, by the way.
No, I saw it was nominated for like
Emmys. What the fuck?
Yeah, it got some like nominated for like best main theme as a musical theme or something.
Shitty.
Yeah, you want the big ones.
It was really good. It could have easily taken the spot from Stranger Things. Now Martin is gonna flip it.
Okay. I just gotta ask also. You used to have a YouTube channel. Is that anything you are still doing, or?
I think I might restore it in the future. I need to buy a better camera and probably get better lighting here. I'll start it.
Yeah.
Because I have you been noticing I've written these short concert reviews on Facebook?
Yeah, I've been reading them. You're good at writing those kind of reviews. Definitely.
Yeah. And I think that we'll still write concert reviews. I haven't been to a concert now in 2 weeks. I'm gonna go to one on next Saturday. Then it's Propaganda i Parken. A lot of people are gonna hang there. So get over there if you want. Jonathan probably will. There. All those people, Otherwise, next week I'm trying to get my day off from work so I can go and see Megadeth the 30th of July. Because they're playing, I can't miss it.
Yeah, I'm on my summer vacation starts today, actually. Well, technically on Monday. So I'll probably go see that too.
A Megadeth.
That's gonna be fun. Oh yeah, Megadeth. Definitely.
Each other then.
We will.
Of
But yeah,
course, we see what Dunkirk will bring to us.
definitely. And I want to plug that then. Actually, now on Monday, the what's that? The 15th, the 17th. Yes, Monday the 17th. I will be streaming once again with Christopher from last week, and also Martin from the chat here. We three are
Yes, I would really want to listen to that.
Yes, we're gonna rank the Christopher Nolan movies from worst to best.
Oh,
like a little preparation.
Right, you know that.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
Though.
I made sure to inform people that they had to see following. So
yeah,
we all have.
There's a great Criterion edition of that movie.
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to buy it, but it's still on American Blu-ray, so I can't watch it. I don't have a region-free Blu-ray.
You can get to buy American Blu-ray soon, because I'm gonna buy a multi-region Blu-ray with my next salary. So if
okay.
You want, it's up for grabs.
Definitely. We'll talk.
Yeah, or buy me 2 cheeseburgers at McDonald's.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. But yeah, so that's for next week. Definitely tune into that. Anyone who's still watching, it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna be 3 people then. So that's my plug.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, until then, have a good one.
Yeah, likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye.